thank you for joining us on this podcast. We are the young people of R.E.A.C.H and Headliners, and we live in a city called Derry, Londonderry. Derry is located in the northwest of Ireland and is the second largest city of Northern Ireland. For decades, Derry was a troubled place, as was the rest of Northern Ireland, and the divide between Protestants and Catholics caused a civil war. Our generation is known as the ceasefire babies, the children born just before, during, or after the Good Friday agreements. We didn't know the troubles, but our parents did, and we heard many stories of the division and sectarianism growing up. Today, we want to see how things have changed. In this podcast, we will talk about the good relations and equality of opportunities in our city. My name is Grace, I'm 15. How are relations in Derry between the different communities, for example, the religious relations or, LGBTQI, how are they, different now?
My name is Harriet, I'm 16. I live in Donegal, which is just outside the border of Northern Ireland. The relations have changed where people communicate with other communities, but it can still be quite hostile and one-sided, and they are quite close-minded still, but they will only really be inside their own homes.
My name's Ellen, I'm 15 and I'm from Derry. I think they've definitely gotten better, but especially with younger people, but with older people I think there's still a lot of discrimination between certain groups and closed-mindedness and just a kind of lack of wanting things to change sort of because they're so used to how things have been.
Do you feel that every young person in town has equal opportunities?
I'm Roisin and I live in Bridgend, just over the border. I think everyone doesn't have equal opportunities because there's a big divide between grammar schools and non-grammar schools. So people who maybe have learning difficulty and don't pass the transfer test, they're not as lucky and they don't have as much opportunity as people that did pass it. I think it's unfair.
Everyone definitely doesn't get the same opportunities. For an example, I hate to say it, but if you're in a Catholic kind of part of the city and you're a Protestant trying to get a job, if there's a Catholic up against you, the Catholic's probably more likely to get the job than you are. But again, education's a big thing as well, just kind of learning difficulties and stuff, but opportunities they aren't equal. What is happening to kind of maintain and sustain good relationships in the community?
I kind of can't think of much except for wee community groups and mixed schools, but I think there needs to be more to kind of help community relations.
You see stuff like youth groups going on that kind of, kind of make it more diverse so people can meet other people who aren't just the kind of same as them. And you see stuff just clubs in general. And in schools too, if you go to mixed schools, there's kind of that. But for people who just go to kind of Catholic schools, there's not much other than kind of shared education too, which helps you meet other people who might be Protestant or just not Catholic. So there's stuff like that, but in general there's not a lot going on. But I guess moving forward we could probably look into stuff we could do for that. What more could be done, do you think, to make it better?
I don't know, just probably introduce different stuff in school and workshops with other schools. I don't know.
When my school did shared education, it only really went on for a couple of months and then they just didn't talk about it again. If they did more stuff in RE in school, it's very Catholic. If they opened it up a bit more, maybe more Protestant students would be able to join, or if they just got rid of RE as a subject really, or changed it where you learnt about different religions, it would open people's minds and make it a better opportunities for everyone.
Where does the gap lie currently in Derry?
I don't think it has changed. There is still a divide between Protestants and Catholics, but that was between white people and white people. Now everybody wants like equal rights and that they are entitled to, but it's definitely coming up more different stuff, and LGBT rights and stuff like that. It hasn't shifted, like it's still there. It's just the focus is on bigger things really now.
I feel as though, it used to just kind of be Catholic and Protestants the only thing you hear about. Nowadays you kind of hear about, gender equality, LGBTQ rights, you hear like kind of about abortion, you hear about kind of the youth getting a voice to speak out. So I feel like now it's much more than just like Catholics and Protestants, and like everybody just needs an equal chance at everything. Do you think Derry's in a good place at the minute?
I'm not sure. I think different parts, maybe. Not different parts, like different groups, like age groups specifically. Like younger people, I think, are generally in a good place. But I think it just depends on your mindset too.
I don't really think Derry's in a good place, but I think it's in a better place than it was. Because I feel like everyone's kind of changed after like COVID, and I don't know, everyone's kind of just changed their mindset.
Yeah, kind of in some aspects it's a good place, but I think just there was riots a few months ago and stuff, so stuff like that isn't great, but I think the acceptance level is better, just kind of being like LGBTQ or just like kind of just different religions and stuff, but there's definitely stuff that needs to be worked on, but like it's like in a good place.
In Derry itself, I would feel comfortable walking really anywhere in Derry, but outside Derry and like when the flags are up either both sides, you would just be wary of who would come up to you and start something.
How do you feel about your future in Derry?
Like whenever you talk about it to people, you always kind of hear like, oh, there's no opportunities here, you're going to have to move away if you want to do certain things to get more opportunities, but unless like more stuff starts to kind of open up here, I think most people are going to move away maybe.
It's not really good for what I want to do. I want to move to the country. Well, more in the country. Just because it would be better, I guess.
I feel like when I get older, I'll want to move to a different country, just because I feel like in Derry, there's only so much you can do for your education and so many opportunities that you can get, but if Derry like kind of evolves and grows into kind of more of a better place for opportunities, I could see myself staying here, but unless we kind of evolve with kind of the times, I feel like I'll probably move somewhere else.
I'll probably stay for college and university because it probably will work out cheaper and stuff. But after that, I'm definitely moving away because Derry and Ireland, it just feels very small and suffocating. I just want nobody to know really anything about me, like privacy kind of.
That's the end of this podcast for now. If you've listened, you would see that in Derry, it's a good place for opportunity, but there's definitely more that could happen, and hopefully in the future there'll be more kind of acceptance and more opportunities. Thanks for listening to us, and hopefully you will start a conversation today as well. Every change in this world started with a conversation.